British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and these are your news headlines for 3:30. A public information meeting involving Fort Nelson evacuees is set to take place later today. The Northern Rockies Regional Municipality says the meeting will take place at 3:30 local time at the North Peace Arena in Fort St. John. The community has been under an evacuation order since last Friday due to the out-of-control Parker Lake blaze. A second larger fire has reportedly opened up in a remote northwest area of the town. The New Westminster Police are investigating the multi-vehicle dump truck accident that took place last night. Our reporter Ryan Sheridan explains how the police are regulating commercial trucks.
This is the third major truck crash at the intersection of East Columbia and Holmes Street. The busy hill is notorious for truck crashes, even though it is off the truck route. New Westminster Police Communications Officer Haley Finnegan explains how officers monitor commercial trucks.
This location of Holmes in East Columbia is a place that's monitored by our Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit. Any commercial truck drivers could get a off-truck route ticket if they're found to be driving on Holmes without a reason, like if they're making a delivery or something like that. And that's a city bylaw ticket of $200.
The police say members of the public can make a report if they routinely see trucks driving off the designated route. Ryan Sheridan, BCIT's The Crow.
Neighborhood houses are built to bring people from all walks of life together to promote a sense of community. Reporter Matthias Jones talked with an organizer from a Kitsilano neighborhood house about what community means to her.
The Kitsilano Neighborhood House offers services and programs to anyone from newborn to senior. One of their services, the Better at Home program, helps seniors with non-medical, day-to-day tasks to make it easier for them to stay living in their own homes. The coordinator of Better at Home, Margarita Chapman, discussed what values she brings to the program.
Kids House, we create a warm and inclusive environment that offer, connections, that celebrate diversity and brings people together.
Chapman says the main goal of the program is to prevent isolation among seniors. Matthias Jones for BCIT's The Crow.
The government of British Columbia has announced that high-speed internet will be coming to more communities in northern British Columbia. Fort St. James, Williams, Prairie, Meadow, and Burns Lake areas will get new infrastructure that will expand access to high-speed internet services. More than 1,300 households will see improved internet connection. The construction of the new infrastructure will be operated by internet service provider City West. The province will invest up to $1.6 million towards high-speed internet from the Connecting British Columbia program. The federal government is investing more than $3.8 million through its Universal Broadband Fund. OpenAI has released GPT 4.0 this week. Reporter Lauren Achille speaks with a relationship coach who says no robot can replace person-to-person interaction.
GPT 4.0 is a chatbot that can understand audio, image, and text inputs with the goal of creating a human-like interaction with a computer. Annika Uzak, a Vancouver-based relationship coach, says a conversation with a chatbot like this may come off as disingenuous.
I don't think anything could replace that sort of human contact because you don't know where a human interaction's going sometimes, right? So I'm not really too threatened by a computer's ability to emulate human feelings or emotions.
Uzek adds there are positives to chatbots as they have provided her with different perspectives on relationships. She says despite how humane it may seem, human interactions are just too special to replace. Lauren Achille, BCIT's The Crow.
We are now joined by Lauren. Lauren, what are some of the features of this new chatbot as opposed to the known Chat GPT?
Yeah, so the
this new chatbot can sing, laugh, and give you life advice. You can also show it your dog and it will express certain emotions. This is definitely not your typical chat GPT. The responses are faster, so this is to create more of a natural human to computer interaction. So how will it affect each person? Well, that's definitely up to the user. Therapists and life coaches are though concerned because of the authenticity when it comes to those human interactions.
How can people turn to this chatbot as more than just a tool?
So Uzak said if your feelings are being mirrored and understood by this bot, then it can be used as a healing modality. There is, though, she said that the human connection is really important. It's something that we all need, and she said that it's only accessible through another person.
Thank you, Lauren. Namgis First Nation in British Columbia is taking legal action in order to protect wildlife salmon. According to Chief Victor Isaac, the First Nation is challenging the Fisheries Department agriculture policy. Isaac says going to court is a last resort, but the nation needs to protect its wild salmon. We are now halfway through the month-long Loblaw boycott. Reporter Tammy Mack gives us a glimpse on the economics of revenue.
Consumers faced with skyrocketing grocery prices were angered by Loblaw's reported record high revenues, igniting a nationwide boycott. However, UBC economics professor Torsten Jackert says that the boycott may be a symptom of misplaced anger. Loblaw's increased revenues may be a byproduct of lockdown restrictions that gave consumers little choice between grocery stores. Post-pandemic supply chain disruption and rising operating costs are accounted for in revenue numbers.
I think from an economist's perspective, it's not clear if a chain such as Loblaws is sort of raising prices in a way that is nefarious, sort of gaining profit at the expense of consumers. Are rising prices actually reflecting their cost of doing business, which, of course, has been fluctuating wildly in the last couple of years as well.
Jackert iterates that revenue increases with rising operating costs, but that it does not equal profits. Tammy Mack, BCIT's The Crow.
The South Burnaby community had their first arena recreation open this year. Our reporter CO4U will tell us more on how the Rosemary Brown Centre has become a positive impact for residents.
According to Elections Canada, Burnaby South has a population of over 120,000 people, making it a diverse and growing community. Vince Kwong, the manager of the Rosemary Brown Centre, notes that many residents have never experienced ice skating or put on skates before. It was crucial for the city to carefully consider the type of center that would best serve this community. Since its grand opening in April of this year, Kwong says that the community has enthusiastically embraced the center, with people coming in to try out the ice rink and other services such as spring ice time. Additionally, activities like toonie skates and skating lessons were consistently filled. With summer coming up, many new programs will be added to the center for residents to choose from. CF4O, BCIT's The Crow.
A judge in Quebec has denied McGill University's injunction request to dismantle a pro-Palestinian encampment. The encampment has been active on the university's Montreal campus for more than 2 weeks. The school did not prove that the encampment posed a health and safety risk, according to Superior Court Justice Marc St. Pierre. Montreal's International Airport is headed to court in an effort to stop a suburban airport from rebranding with the city's name. Aéroports de Montréal operator Montreal Trudeau International Airport has filed a request for a permanent injunction in Quebec Superior Court. The airport hopes to force Montreal Metropolitan Airport to change its name. Montreal Airport claims the similar names could cause confusion among travelers. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a bill making climate change less of a priority under state law. The bill also bans offshore wind turbines near the state's coastline. Critics say the bill ignores the reality of climate change in Florida. Canada's Got Talent's most recent champion is confident the win will help her grow her career. Rebecca Strong, an Indigenous singer from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, took home the $1 million prize awarded to the winner. Strong says the prize will go a long way in helping her bring her career to the next level. The 20-year-old Strong has been performing for much of her life, although her appearance on Canada's Got Talent marked the biggest stage she has performed on yet. The Canadian beat out 7 other finalists with her performance of Adele's Rolling in the Deep. Now on to weather. This afternoon will be a high of 18 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. The temperature is expected to drop to 11 degrees. That has been your 3:30 news update. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. I'm Nicholas Hauke with your sports update to 3:45. Starting on the ice, after the Vancouver Canucks lost in Game 4 to the Edmonton Oilers, Canucks coach Rick Tocchet expressed his frustrations. Tocchet exclaimed far too many of his players were being, quote, passengers, unquote, and not driving play. Today, a more reserved Tocchet told the media a big shakeup in the lineup isn't needed ahead of Game 5.
I mean, the Lindholm line's been good most of the series. The Miller line's been good. I'm not sure breaking those guys up is the right thing to do. So if that's what you guys are looking for, I'd say no. But saying that, yeah, we do have to get some more offense. And we got to get some more from some certain people. But I'm not sure about shuffling lines right now is the right thing to do.
The Canucks look to avenge their defeat in front of their home crowd Thursday night when the puck drops at 7 p.m. Heading to the soccer pitch, the Vancouver Whitecaps are on the road against the Colorado Rapids tonight. The Whitecaps are coming off a difficult 3-0 loss to LAFC. Midfielder Ryan Gold says the team is looking to turn things around quickly.
Got the chance to try and turn things around straight away, and we don't have a long week of training to dwell on tonight's result. So we've got a game to focus on already on Wednesday.
Kickoff is at 6:30. Moving to basketball, there's two crucial matchups in the NBA tonight. First on the docket, the Cleveland Cavaliers will desperately try to keep their season alive on the road against the Boston Celtics at 4 o'clock. Down 3-1 in the best-of-7 series, this is the last chance to get it right for the Cavaliers. It's now or never. In the second game of the night, the Dallas Mavericks will head to Oklahoma to play Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, both teams are looking for a critical Game 5 victory. Tip-off is at 6:30. In baseball, the matchup between the Toronto Blue Jays and Baltimore Orioles came down to the wire this afternoon. In the bottom of the ninth, Adley Rutschman stepped up to bat for the Orioles.
2-1. Rutschman hits it high in the air. Right field, it's deep. Springer going back at the track, at the high wall, and this baby is out of here! Adley Rutschman has walked it off! It's a 2-run shot that just landed above the LED board in right, and the Orioles can finally celebrate as Rutschman is mobbed at home plate. Jordan Romano gives it up, and the Orioles, it is another series where they still haven't been swept.
That 2-run homer gave the Orioles a 3-2 victory. Heading to the gridiron, BC Lions training camp is underway in Kamloops as the team prepares for its 70th season in franchise history. Co-general manager Neil McAvoy says there's plenty of young Canadians impressing in camp early.
I think that a guy like Christophe Beaulieu has really stepped up. I really like Ezekiel Tied, plays at a high level. And even our young junior kids, a guy like Kieran Passant and Colton Miko, who plays for the Kamloops Broncos, they have fit in.
The Lions look to continue to develop their special teams, special plays, and special players. The club's first preseason game will take place May 25th against the Calgary Stampeders. In golf news, the PGA Championship kicks off this Thursday at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. There's a lot of uncertainty about Tiger Woods' ability to perform. Woods says he needs to figure out how to play 4 good rounds instead of only 2.
I still feel that I can win golf tournaments. I still feel I can hit the shots and still feel like I have my hands around the greens and I can putt. I just need to do it for all 4 days, not like I did at Augusta for only 2.
Woods hasn't won a major event since the 2019 Masters. That was your sports update to 3:45. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Nicholas Hauke, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow. Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Four of us showed up, slipped into the dragon boat, and off we went. Never to be the same again.
You know you're sitting amongst courageous, strong warriors who've all gone through their own journey. The roots of abreast in a boat run deep.
Carol Dale. I'm 84, and I was one of the original members of Abreast in a Boat in 1996, and I have not missed a season since. I was diagnosed while I was taking a break as an editor, so I was just 51. I was told just to be very careful. You were given some exercises in the hospital in those days, crawling your arm up the wall that was about the limit of exercise. I think you were supposed to just sit in your chair. Even knitting was thought to be not the right thing to be doing. Usually the affected arm was in grave danger of developing this lymphedema. Continued after that, volunteering with organizations that had something to do with breast cancer and awareness. And then along came a notice that on one of the committees on which I was sitting, that this doctor at UBC was looking for, I called them guinea pigs, volunteers to join the dragon boat team to test his theory that it would not cause lymphedema. That's what Dr. McKenzie had heard from a patient who came to see him at the Sports Medicine Center. And he said, that doesn't make any sense. So he said, I'll test it. That's what he did. At the beginning, a little timid. We were out for an hour, and I think we paddled for 8 minutes. There were lots of stops. He was very patient with us. And then once we got more relaxed, of course, all we would do was talk. You're so close together in the boat, and if you stop for a minute, you've got something to say to the gal next to you, or in front of you, or behind you, or whatever, and the hilarity starts. You're having so much fun and getting to know each other. And there was a lot of laughter about the reason we were there and what we'd been through, and we told each other our stories. And so when we were sitting around thinking of what to call our team, it came up, well, why don't we call it Abreast in a Boat? Because that's what we are, abreast in a boat. Fine, we'll do it.
When I walked into that novice meeting, what was it, a month and a half ago or something, a month ago, and they're showing us women in their 80s who are still going to be on the boats with us. That was like such inspiration.
Never turn away a novice. The novices take precedence because they're princesses for a year, but only a year.
I'm pretty excited about it. Certainly they've told us it's a lot of work, and I believe it is from what I've seen out on the water. But yeah, it's something I've been wanting to do to kind of make this into a positive experience for something that's been challenging. I was diagnosed shortly after kind of the height of COVID, and then went through the process. I stayed really active through treatment, and I really saw that being active helped me stay healthier than some of the other people I knew. And so kind of in the back of my mind, I went, okay, so when I'm ready, this would be a really great way to keep that activity in my life. And as I said, have something positive and connecting with other women who've been through this. So.
Way to go. All right, now Betty. So follow the paddle in front of you.
So my name is Yvonne Steish, and I've been paddling with a breast and boat since 2007, which makes it 17 years this season. And this year I am one of 2 coaches on the boat.
And what we're going to do is we will start with a warm-up, then we will do our seating plan, and walk down to the dock, and then we'll start.
I think the whole boat is full of people that show leadership. We have a manager, we have 2 captains, we have a social coordinator, safety coordinator, outreach, communication, you name it. And I think it's all of us working together to create that kind of safe haven for newcomers. What happened was I discovered a breast and a boat through my work team. So we happened to be down here at a regatta, and often during regattas there's all this time between races and it gets a little boring. So you go shopping and then you go look at kiosks and information booths and things like that. And I stumbled upon the breast and a boat booth. They had these old-fashioned photo albums, and in each album was a picture of a woman and a description, a very short description. I ended up reading every single one of them because it turned out those were their angels, the ones who had passed away. So I read through all of them, and then I went on and raced and promptly sort of forgot about it. 6 months later, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. I think my body knew something was going on, that my mind, the consciousness wasn't there yet and the awareness wasn't there. So then I went through all my treatments, and interesting enough that even though people were saying to me, oh, this is your team, you gotta join them. At first, I actually said, no, I don't want to do it. I would see them out there, and the reason why was I don't like pink. That was one reason. But the second reason was that I just really thought that once I was finished with the treatments, that I would be able to just close that chapter of my life and just sort of go on. And it was just like, it would be done. I think you're never really over it. You're never over that memory. And that every time you go for a mammogram, which in my case is annually, that fear comes up. Just being with other women that you can share that experience with, that was what kind of drove me to join a breast and a boat.
My name is Lori Giositz, and I'm going into my 2nd year. Novice no more is what they say. So I signed up and went to the new member meeting in January, and I was thrilled to get going. I said, you know what? Life's too short, and when you've come through breast cancer and the type that I had, which is a rare type, you live every day fully. I was standing at the railing just down by Science World, and a woman and her husband came up, and she had a handkerchief over her head. And she came in, and we were chatting. She says, are you on a breast and a boat dragon team? And I said, yes, dragon boat team. I said, yes, I am. She says, I'm just going through cancer treatments, and I've used to dragon boat, and I'd really love to dragon boat again. And she said, I am so happy to meet you. I get shivers saying this right now, that to be in the right place at the right time. And I said, when you're ready, when you're finished treatment and the dwell time is finished, you come join us.
Got the news and had to absorb it. The surgeon that I had to give my choice to, gave me a copy of Dr. Susan Love's breast book because he knew that I'd like to have information. Little did he know that I couldn't absorb the information. You know, your head goes a little weird. We walked along the seawall after that appointment, and all I could do was look at women's breasts who were coming toward me. You've just been told you're going to be without one. And what do you think you're going to look like? You're not going to look like all those women that are walking towards you that are totally normal. It gets to be a little weird, kind of obsessional.
I was healthy. I was 55 years old, went for my mammogram. I'm really careful about screening, really diligent about screening. I went in for a mammogram August 18th. It was sunny, it was hot, gorgeous day. Had my mammogram on a Friday afternoon. Oh, that's done. Had an ice cream cone, nice treat. And went to the Canadiens baseball game on the Sunday, and Monday I was getting the call back.
I had actually been doing mammograms. My mom had cancer, so since I was like early 30s, and I was used to the whole going in, stressed out, recalls, okay, it's nothing, and so it caught me off guard when it finally wasn't a nothing.
My first mammogram after my treatments, fine. I got called back 2 days later, and they said, oh, we need to come in again and do a bit more testing. My heart just dropped. Even now, I can feel it in my chest, what it felt like.
While I'm happy to be past it, there still are those niggling worries in my head and all of that come up. So
They can't say to you, you have a long life ahead of you. They don't know enough about it yet.
And that's kind of what it is. It affects the family, it affects everything that goes into your, your existence, everything in your life. It does. Where it becomes difficult is loss and grief. When you have a recurrence or when you have a loss, it's shared, and it's easier when it's shared.
That's why we're here. That's why we just keep it going. Until we end breast cancer, we need each other.
We were the only breast cancer team, of course.
It's a great sisterhood locally, but it's also an incredible sisterhood internationally. Also, every 4 years that there is this international regatta in different countries around the world, and you go there and you're with 4,000, 5,000 other women all dressed in pink and variations of pink. But it is like just seeing that sea of women all together and, not just surviving but thriving.
If Don hadn't come up with that idea, none of it would have happened. I was at a regatta in Australia about 15 years ago, and the man who was standing behind him just tapped him on the shoulder and said, "You're Dr. Mackenzie. Thank you for giving me back my wife."
You really are a sisterhood, and we formed such a connection, such a bond.
the idea of having that community around certainly is something that will be a good thing in my life.
I get the fun and the laughter and the support and the comfort. It changes your life.
It's a vibration and energy. Really, I couldn't think of a better team to be on.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.